arts and the arts of rhetoric take center. As we embark on this final debate, let us remember the principle that guides us. It is the pursuit of knowledge and the respect of opposing views. It is not just a battle of words, but a celebration of intellectual vibrancy that defines our community. Allow me to reprise that today's motion is this House will make conscription mandatory only for the person not in education, employment, or training. I involve all speakers engaged in the spirit of healthy debates and uphold the values that make debates a cornerstone of education and diplomacy. Now, I will state the rule and order. Each debater will have 7 minutes to deliver his or her speech. The bell will ring once to indicate that the first minute has ended and POIs may be heard. The bell will ring once after the 6-minute mark and will ring twice at the end of the 7-minute speech. I would like to remind the members of the floor, you may have only increased points of information in the constructive speech and only after the minutes and before the last minutes of speech. You may start to indicate your raised POIs. Also, please make sure that POIs is clear. Reminder to turn off your phone so it will not disturb the audio of the House. Are there any queries before we start? Let me introduce the members of the House today. In the government side, we have TPSA, Prime Minister Nadra, Deputy Prime Minister Natasha, Government Whip Sophia. In opposition side, we have TPSP, the Leader of Opposition Nadra, Deputy Leader of Opposition Mike, and Opposition Whip Shavika. Joining us today, the mottos for TPSP is hard work, never betrays. Meanwhile, on the government side, their motto, every argue is arguable. Joining us today is also our educators, Mr. Muhammad Shafiq, Mrs. Nur Alia Shafira, Mrs. Nur Fahana Afika, Madam Azlina, and Ms. Safra. Let us not forget that EPN is not just about winning or losing, but the transformative power of dialogue and lasting impact of the ideas we share. May this final round be a testament to the brilliance of our debaters. This House wish both of the teams the best of luck and look forward to witnessing a debate that we will remember for years to come. With that, I call upon the Prime Minister Nadra to deliver her speech. The floor is yours. We, as the government side, we stand with the motion that this House will make conscription mandatory only for person not in education, employment, or training. Before we delve deeper into this motion, I would firstly like to define this motion. Conscription means the practice or ordering people by law to join the armed forces. Mandatory means required by law. Education means a process of teaching, training, and learning, especially in school, colleges, or universities. Employment means work, especially when it is done to earn money. Training is the process of learning the skills that you need to do a job. With today's motion being defined, I will move on to the stakeholders. The stakeholders that the government side has chosen today is the government and military service. They are the entities responsible for implementing conscription as they are the major stakeholders. Secondly, the youth population. Young individuals not in education, employment, or training are directly affected. Thirdly, educational institutions, schools, colleges, and universities might be affected as their students could subject to conscription. Last but not least are the in available workforce due to conscription. Malaysia does not have mandatory military service for all males over a certain age. However, Malaysia does have a national service training program which is mandatory for all 18 to 21 years old. In 2018, Youth and Sport Minister Syed Abdul Rahman announced the abolishment of the LKN. In 2023, in Defence Ministry's statement about comeback of the LKN was issued in response to concern that the program might include between ages of 16 to 35 years old. We recognize this with the LKN 3.0. The policy that we are introducing is that we would apply this conscription to those who have health restrictions that are pardoned by the doctors. For 2 years minimum, youth is obligated to complete their conscription. I, as the Prime Minister, will talk about the youth. Will talk about the youth unemployment, while my deputy Prime Minister will talk to you about gaining valuable skills and country's advancement. My government will revert and sum up the government's stand of today. I stand with the youth and unemployment. We advocate a motion that asserts mandatory conscription for individuals not engaged in employment, education, or training. We aim to offer a constructive alternative path for personal and professional development. Youth unemployment is a formidable challenge, leads to frustration, disillusionment, and lack of direction among young citizens. Why do we say this? Unemployed youth could feel frustrated, as they could have been pressured or mocked for being unemployed. By mandatory conscription, we envision a transformative solution. This alternative provides an avenue for skills acquisition and country's advancement. This will be later on elaborated by my Deputy Prime Minister. Imagine a scenario where young individuals find themselves without clear purpose are given an opportunity to serve to their country. This service extends beyond the realm of defense. It becomes a journey of self-discovery and skill enhancement. Furthermore, this approach aligns with the idea of shared commitment to the well-being of our nation. In essence, our proposition aims to transform a potential period of stagnation and uncertainty for young individuals into a valuable opportunity for growth. It allows them to develop skills that will not only benefit their personal and professional lives, but will also contribute to the overall resilience and prosperity of the youth. With this being said, we as the government believe that we will make the conscription mandatory for the person who are not occupied and engaged with the employment, education, or training. In conclusion, mandatory conscription for those who are not engaged in employment, education, or training is not just our defense. It's about investing in our youth for a greater opportunity and for a greater future, providing them with a proposal and a purposeful path, and ultimately addressing the pressing issue of youth unemployment. Let us embrace this vision to a more empowered and engaged generation, working hard and hand in hand for the prosperity of our nation and youth. With that being stated, I rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you to the Prime Minister for her speech. The speakers spoke for 6 minutes and
Here.
Imagine a world where we ask something, we invite something policy that will benefit for our own country, our own beloved country, Malaysia. And I believe all of us want that to happen. Before I continue, Assalamualaikum and good morning. I bid to the excellent educators, chairperson, kind people, worthy opponents, my fellow teammates and audience. And I would like to thank you for the educators for spending your time, and also chairman, kind people, thank you so much for spending your time. And audience, thank you for being here. Your presence really means a lot to us, and it's an honor to debate with such a good debater. So I, as the leader of opposition, will do two things in today's debate, which is I will be introducing our own mechanism, and I will give one argument that is to support our mechanism. Then my deputy leader of opposition will then explain and elaborate more about my argument and bring another two arguments that will support our mechanism, and then my opposition will then destroying all the stands given by the government and solidifies our mechanism for the day. So moving on to introducing our mechanism, right? So instead of making like this conscription mandatory for those unemployment people, we want to make like community service that is not only mandatory, that is mandatory for people who is unemployment, and this community service also opens to people who is in education, who is working, and also who is in training. So what is community service, ladies and gentlemen? Community service is a voluntary work that intended to help people in particular area, and community service basically, as you all know, is unpaid work. And also community service, we see community service is literally very flexible, and this community service can be done in any time. And rather, conscription needs us to contribute for a certain period of time, like the government said, 3 years. And thus, this conscription will not benefit our country very much, and this I will prove to you in my argument statement. So, no thank you. I will take the stakeholders for our side. So basically it is people who obviously who is unemployed, and people who is in education, who is studying, and people who is in work, who is working, and also people who is in training. So what is the issue in our work? We see that the unemployment rate is increasing into 3.5 this year. And this is concerning because it will affect our country in the long run. And also, this unemployment basically is just wasting oxygen, which is decreasing nowadays, and also just increasing the carbon dioxide that is bad for human. And so moving on to my first argument, which is the argument as why our mechanism is better, is not all people are eligible and built for this military service. So I have three levels of analysis. First, why is this true? Because army basically people are volunteering to get into the army, and conscription people who are enlisted to go to the conscription. And statistics shows that 71% of young people are ineligible for military because the reasons of health, physical appearance, and educational background. And the government might argue that about the relevance of the data, but it still stands it still as true that there are people who is ineligible for military service. Moving on to my second level of analysis, which is why is this good? Because these people, because this community service, which is our mechanism, are more flexible than I stated earlier, and it will also be explained by my deputy leader position. And this community service can be joined by people who is sick and didn't receive proper education because for example, and because of this community service, like those people who are mentioned in our stakeholders can also contribute to our country in their own way. So moving on to my third level of analysis is why is this important? We believe that as we see, like often cases, people who are in unemployment are isolated by surroundings, and by having this mandatory community service, this program will help them to integrate themselves back into the community and opens the opportunity for them to learn new skills that will later they will get a job from that skills that they obtain in this community service. So I have to say, I as the first representative of this leader of opposition is opposing today's motion with full confidence. Thank you.
Thank you, the leader of the opposition. She speaks for 6 minutes and 21 seconds. Now, I would like to call upon the Deputy Prime Minister Natasha to deliver her speech. You may deliver her speech now.
I will start my speech. Ladies, gentlemen, panels, and opponents. Today's motion is this House will make conscription mandatory only for persons not in education, employment, or training. We as a government team, we strongly agree with this motion as we believe that this House will make conscription mandatory only for persons who is not in education, employment, and also in training. First of all, ladies, gentlemen, and panels, notice how the leader of opposition did not even rebut any of the points given by the Prime Minister. Also, I will start my speech by rebutting and invalidating the points given by the opposition leader. First of all, she said that by doing a community service for everyone is better than making a conscription for persons who are not in education, employment, and training. However, in Malaysia ourselves, there has been a lot of community service. There has been a lot of community service to help people in particular areas just like the leader of opposition had mentioned. And she also had mentioned about not all people are built for conscription. This is why we have to make conscription to teach them how to build themselves for conscription. Just because they are not built for conscription, that this doesn't mean that they could not be in a conscription. I will move on to my point. I will be delivering this point, which is by conscription, these individuals would gain valuable skills, and also this would benefit the country's advancement. First of all, these individuals would gain valuable skills for the future. I will be focused, for example, resilience, discipline, and also adaptability. I will be focusing more on resilience and discipline. However, adaptability is when these individuals is in their comfort place of unemployment, when they need to change the environment to go to conscription, they have to change their environment, so they have to adapt the new environment. That's why this would teach them adaptability skills. Next one is resilience. They will gain resilient skills, which could make a new generation that is resilient in the future, which will be able to withstand, recover, or even quickly recover from difficult conditions. Studies have shown that 4 over 5 teenagers in Malaysia are weak physically. So by this constriction, this would help them to be resilient. Thus, this would improve the percentage of physically status in Malaysia. And it is vital to make sure that our citizens at least have a healthy and strong body. Conscription will make them more resilient, as we will have to perform physically during the conscription with alternating days of muscular endurance exercise or aerobic running. Regular running helps strengthen the heart, increase the lung capacity, increasing the resilience of those who are in conscription. Next one is discipline. Conscription training is structured around a set of rules, routine, and protocol. Thus, these would make them more disciplined as they have a law to obey to, except for when they are in an employment. Conscription introduces individuals to a highly disciplined environment. When they are adherents to orders, punctuality, attention to details are emphasized. Punctuality is non-negotiable habit, reinforcing reliability and trustworthy. These qualities are not only respected but actively sought after by civilian employees as they contribute to a culture of efficiency and reliability in the workplace. Thus, this would benefit them so that they would have a better chance of employing in the future, as they have those valuable skills that could help them to get employment. This also would indirectly help those companies, as they will have a better employees. My next point is for the country. This benefits the country's advancement. So, why does this benefits the country advancement? Because this helps with the community betterment. 45.8% of 30.26 million Malaysians are the key asset in determining direction and success of our country, which is Malaysia. Crucial to have a betterment in the future. It is crucial to have a betterment in the future. Promoted a sense of shared responsibility for the well-being of the company, ensures that everyone contributes to the betterment in some way. Conscription contributes to building a cohesive national identity. Citizens actively engaged in the building together, strengthen the ties between the citizens and bind the nation, promote shared commitment to common goals. This conscription will also benefit the country's advancement, as it instills a sense of duty in those individuals who are in the conscription. It teaches them to bear the sense of responsibility, as they have something that they need to do and they need to fulfill. They have responsibility in this conscription. This will benefit country's advancement, as we have a generation who will be a future leader of our country who is more responsible. In conclusion, by making this conscription mandatory, it will just benefit for all of us, not only the individuals but also the companies and everyone, the country and so on. With that, I respectfully thank you.
Thank you to the Deputy Prime Minister. She spoke for 6 minutes and 53 seconds. Now, I would like to call upon the Deputy Leader of Opposition to deliver his speech. The floor is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, the government side trying to do the military service mandatory for the unemployment and education don't they think what is the bad impact for the country itself, since it can cost more money in giving them the places to live, the food, the clothes? It also can be bad impact. While our mechanism is absolutely give benefit to our country itself. Before I start, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am pleased to the honorable facilitators, Ms. Chairperson, precious timekeeper, and members of the floor. So, I, as the deputy leader for opposition, today will do two things. First, I would like to rebut all the misleading, all the unbeneficial points from the government side, and I will make it clear. And second, I will present you two of my arguments, and last, and I will make it crystal clear why we, the opposition side, should win today's debate. Without wasting more time, let's jump into the rebuttal. Like what the Deputy Prime Minister have said about those skills that can be developed during the military service. As we all know, during the community service, we can also develop those skills without even costing the country money. It also can benefit the country itself. We can develop, like the Deputy Prime Minister has stated that resilient. We also can develop resilience. Can also good by doing the community service. Like I will give an example. Community service like cleaning the house after the flood, after the big flood. We can help them. And also no thank you. And also the mandatory service for the unemployment. Also, why we need to make it mandatory when our country itself have our own military service, have our own military force and military army. Why we need to force all the unemployment person, all the unemployed person to join the military. So that's all with remarks. So let's move on to my argument. So first, my first argument of today: community service can reduce the unemployment rate in Malaysia. Can reduce the unemployment rate in Malaysia. Why I say this is true? Because, like what my leader of profession have stated about, in Malaysia we have 3.5% unemployment rate in Malaysia, and this data is 2023. Okay. Since our mechanism involved in all person, those all person can take advantage of the time spend time during the community service to create new networking, connection, and establish potential jobs. By doing the community service, you can meet so many people who are also working in a big company. You can introduce yourself and make a new network with them. I will give an example. If you as an unemployed and you join the community service and you meet the big president of the company, and they can recognize you, and maybe and it may they can take you as their employee. That is what the community service beneficial for the civilians. So, why is it good? This community service affect in a long time of period. Long time. Because, why? I will give you an example. What if you get unemployed? Do you need just to stay at home and even a burden for the country itself? If you got unemployed, you can join community service and and as what our mechanism is, it involves all persons. You have a backup plan after you get unemployed. So you just don't waste all the what the government has been giving you. So why is it important? And also, are we just hoping for the specific person to do the community service? That is absolutely our responsibility as civilians in this country. Okay, so let's move on to our my second argument, which is I said in my rebuttal, develop skill for future career. So why is it true? Community service helps explore hidden skills because they can pick up any service and use those skills as a career in the future. So I will give an example. For example, someone who wants to donate food, who wants to do the community service, he should know the basic cooking skill. For this, he developed his cooking skill, and in the future, he can open his own restaurant. People in need never reject food, and no food will go to waste. And it shows how the beneficial community service is. So another example, someone who plays sport in his previous can coach for a youth sport team. He could gain his experience in coaching and develop leadership skills. He can continue coaching for higher levels in the future. And absolutely, he can get employed in the future. Last, very important, during community service, someone can develop and show his skills to potential employers. Clients are collaborated. Someone can demonstrate their leadership, communication, teamwork problems. So that is why I've shown more example about why our mechanism is good and why the judges decide to abolish it. Thank you.
Thank you to the leader of opposition. He spoke for 7 minutes and 24 seconds. We shall now hear the speech from the government wing. With that, I call upon the government wing. Here.
I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Final. What am I going to do as a government should today? I will have to rebut all of the substantives that were given by the side opposition. First and foremost, Prime Minister has started giving her alternative mechanism by, again, doing community service. She has not stated specifically what those community services are. We are not clear about what community service are they actually going to do. The deputy leader of opposition has stated about basic cooking skills and basic coaching skills. So the community services that I'm talking about is playing football and developing their coaching skills and cooking for other people. Is that the community service they are talking about? They were not clear in their mechanism. Aside from that, they were saying about how, again, unemployment. They kept repeating unemployment since deputy of the leader of opposition and also the leader of opposition. They are still about they can reduce the chances of employment. However, us on-site government also does the same thing, maybe even better, because us on-site government, we are actually making those things again mandatory, and at the same time, we are giving them skills for the future. We are giving them actual skills for the future for their, again, employment. We are making sure that after completing their mandatory service in conscription, they can again get employed rather than compared to side opposition. They were saying about how they can reduce employment rate and again, as a backup plan for unemployment. Again, backup plan for unemployment. They are reassuring us that again this can reduce the rate of employment and this can increase the basic skills for the future. How is community service again going to let the companies be more confident in employing those youth? Compared in our government side, we are again giving them conscription. We are giving you guys how by getting into conscription, they will be more resilient, they will be more disciplined, more time, more punctuality, more punctual with their time, more again adaptability. very important key into getting those employees. Therefore, on-site government, we are reassuring and we again are confident in our mechanism as we are so sure that companies are going to employ our youth compared to inside opposition's world where their youth are again community servicing, where this may or may not increase their basic skills, as the difference in activities and in community service and difference in activities in conscription are very different. In conscription, what are you supposed to do? You are supposed to again develop physical training. You are also developing your mental training. Aside from again community service, where you may not be as developed in your physical activities compared to again in conscription. Conscription, you are supposed to again do physical activities where you have to run maybe a few kilometers per day, maybe stretch some muscles, have to stretch some muscles again. This gives you the resilience, this 100% gives you the resilience. Compared to on-site opposition, may or may not build their resilience, may or may not build their discipline, as they again are not exactly telling us what is their mechanism. Aside from that, again, they were talking about how in their work, cleaning a house can build resilience. Agitators, do you think that in our side, where they are actually directly building their resilience, but again, physical training, mentally training, adaptability between the normal stay-at-home unemployment with compared to going to conscription is better at building resilience, or again, cleaning a house in again opposition's work. Aside from that, the deputy leader of opposition has stated about how it helps explore different skills, use those skills in the future. And again, she has started saying about how chef, someone who builds basic cooking skills, everyone needs basic cooking skills, and this can help them be a chef and build a restaurant, handle a restaurant. However, for one to build a restaurant, they don't only need basic cooking skills. They need the discipline. They need the resilience to handle all of the pressure. They need the resilience. But unfortunately, it's an opposition. They only believe that you only need basic cooking skills to be a chef, to build a restaurant. Because that was what that leader of opposition has stated in their work. Aside from that, again, they will say about how in our work, we are affecting the long period time because we are again costing money. It costs money to build houses, to give them food. However, inside government, again, we believe in the betterment of the country. On-site government, we believe that by spending some money as we should have on the government to betterment for the youth, we again are investing in the country itself. As what has been stated by my Deputy Prime Minister, she has stated about how by conscription, this can increase the country's betterment, this can increase the country's advancement. Again, we are investing in the youth's conscription, which will again be invested in the country. We believe that by making those conscriptions mandatory, by asking those youths to come back to the country to serve for the country, again, this will build again our economy back, which again, as the opposition believe that this will reduce the economy because we are helping our country to give food and to give the places to live. Unfortunately, that is not here. There's not belief in on-site government. Aside from that, what else has the side opposition said? Again, side opposition is repeating about unemployment, about how again, they have all stated not all people are eligible for conscription. However, us on-site government believe that again, the Prime Minister has already stated about how if those persons have health restrictions, they will be restricted from going to conscription. What else is the excuse of the youth nowadays who are unemployed to not go into conscription just because to use the excuse of again, they are not eligible. They again, on-site opposition, they have not given us exactly what are the means of unemployed, what are the means of not eligible for conscription. They have not given us that, thus we will reject that point. That is all from me. I am proud to oppose. Thank you very much. I am proud to propose. Thank you very much.
Here the opposition speech. Here.
So I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. I believe that both the government side and the opposition side wants to make the betterment of the country. And so both of us have different kind of benefits, and here we are I as a wing of the government will now clarify to you why our side mechanisms are much better than the government team mechanism. What I will do today as the whip of the opposition side is first to clarify what the differences between the conscription and also the mandatory community service that we use as our mechanism. And second, I will show to you why our team has better benefits compared to the government team's benefits. According to what the Prime Minister has stated earlier, they take into consideration people with health issues, for example. So, if those people who have health issues, we from the opposition side has stated that our mechanism is a mandatory community service, which again stated by both my leader of opposition and deputy leader of opposition is flexible. So even for people who are not good in health, they can contribute to the country through the community, to the mandatory community service. Then you also say about people being mocked for being unemployed, and our mechanism already stated that community service will enhance their skills. Will later on their skills will continue to get better, and they will land a job later in the future. So also again for people who do not have any purpose, our mechanism has already stated that these are flexible, these are good for enhancing their skills. From what I see, coming from the government side, is that they only focus on the resilience, the adaptability, and also the discipline. Yes, that is correct. But mind you, our side mechanisms are better because they not only by my deputy leader of opposition has stated that we also have that benefit. And so I think our side is better because I think for example, discipline. Okay, you make conscription for 3 years. There is a possibility if when the conscription ends, later on, because of later on they will forget the skills that I have done in the conscription. But I guess this question will never be answered. Same goes with this question: cohesive national activity. So you can say that, but you never stated about it. The racism case in Malaysia is also high, and so why you guys didn't state about how you can make a cohesive national unity through that. So I think you did not clarify about that. So we are all did not cannot take that as a solid point. Also, by my Prime Minister, very stated about how this community service is in wide range of scope. Okay, coming from when you said about we are not being clear about community service, you guys also know what community service is, and also my Prime Minister has already stated the definition for the community service, coming from also from the Deputy Prime Minister with the examples, for example, coaching for the youth, for the school team, cooking. Okay, again coming from the government, yes, from the government. My deputy leader of opposition not state anything about having basic skill and later on open a restaurant. What he said is when he has basic skill, he will later on develop his skill, and then when the time comes, he will open a restaurant. Will have the skills to open a restaurant. Next, okay, you also stated about, yes, there's a lot of community service, but what our mechanism is trying to propose is a mandatory community service for the needs. This is because the needs, for example, again, are very much flexible. First, for people who is not good in health, who also maybe from the physical, and I think our mechanism is much better compared to government because the community service is much flexible and it's a much flexible mechanism compared to the mechanism proposed by the government side. Okay, both of our teams from what your government team has said, that they are investing money for the greater good, right? But coming from our side, we stated about instead of investing those monies and then we'll get benefit later, we will get more benefits because of how more people will get into work jobs and everything, and then we later on contribute towards the economic growth of the country. And one plus in the mechanism, you never stated about how you will give an opportunity for them to work after that. So I think that one is not correct. Thank you. I am proud to oppose.
She speaks for 7 minutes and 50 seconds. Moving on. Both of the government and opposition are being given 1 minute to prepare their defense speech. The 1 minute starts now.
Kalau Faisal lah, penjaga kita tahu bukan aku sadarkan aku. Tak apa. Adik kata apa yang boleh yang cakap macam ni, yang suruh aku rakam tadi. Tahu timbalan apa sampel dia datang tengok aku main pingpong. Debat.
The 1 minute is up. I call upon the speaker from the opposition side, Najla, which a leader of opposition, to deliver her required speech. Hear it.
Pasal kayak gini ya.
Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum again. Reply speaker here. Again, thank you so much, judges, and thank you so much, audience, for staying with us until the end of this debate. So, basically,
Empty.
I'm trying to give like summaries of today's debate, and I'm going to
Sudah.
state why our mechanism is much more better and much more beneficial than the mechanism given by the government. the government has already stated that our side has already stated that conscription uses a lot of money as it provides that you have to provide food, clothes, and whatsoever, right? And we also have already stated that this community service didn't cost us anything, didn't cost any money at all. And also we already stated that those skills can be developed without even spending money for those camps on in conscription. And this community service also can also develop the resilient in people, especially when they are facing people during this community service, as our side has stated earlier. And ladies and gentlemen, okay, so now what I'm going to do is a magic trick. Okay, what I'm going to do is a magic trick. I'm going to make each of their mechanism disappear. Okay, so how are we going to do this? So first, we, the side opposition, we focusing on all civilians of the nation, while them, they are focusing on only youth. And as we stated earlier, youth will only affect in the future. While, like we stated earlier, the community service includes all level of age, is also affecting now and day by day until in the future onwards. And also, okay, so we already said they are age limit to get into the conscription activity. So that mechanism is actually false because they are among youth, but our mechanism is much more beneficial as we are concerned not only youth but also the citizens of Malaysia. And all the benefits given by the government, like such as like discipline, developing companies, and country investment, country betterment is also one of our own benefits, because when people have those skills, in the, they will, like my Deputy Prime Minister have already stated, that they will get new skills and then get a new job, and then those companies will get, those companies will be better, and then ultimately, is for our benefit. So, their mechanism literally disappear. So this is proof that our mechanism still stands and our mechanism is not disappear. And judges, I agree. Opposition.
conscription does not mean they could not adapt to the conscription, does not mean that they are not eligible. Other than that, she also has stated about the invaluable skills that could be gained by joining this conscription. Resilience, discipline, adaptability, these are all the skills that we should take into account and into consideration, which the opposition side has not, which the opposition side mechanism could not provide that for us. Other than that, my Deputy Prime Minister have also stated about how it is vital for our community to be healthier, and it is and how it has the better chance with our mechanism to have the employment in the future. Right now, we are going to use the Uno reverse card model. I would like to say that your guys' mechanism are not clear. This has been stated by my whip of government. Your guys' mechanism was not clear, and the mechanism was not clear about where we are heading. Us, as the government side, we have stated clearly how we are going to do this conscription. How our mechanism proves that it is better compared to the opposition. My whip have also stated about how we promote resilience and discipline. Why do we focus this more? Because the community services could not provide this. Just like what my whip has said, stated, just cleaning houses promotes resilience. It doesn't. So with that, I believe that we as the government have made our stand and we have the strongest statement regarding this motion. My dear educators, side with the side that stands with their youth and Malaysia as a whole. Stand with the stand that actually can reassure everyone here that this will make our country better. And with that being stated, I, as the government side, am proud to propose for today's debate. Thank
That's all for this round's debate session. Mind you that it is a final round, as it is a final round, therefore nobody will feedback to the debate from the educator. On behalf of the House, I thank the educators for their assistance, and I congratulate all the debaters on their performance. The House now dismissed.